Hello friends, good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, whatever time you are watching. Welcome back to my channel. My name is Cribby. I am a multi-passionate artist. I just finished my first year in knitting, and today we are reviewing the Elsa #2 cardigan by Just Do Knits. This is suitable for beginners from my standpoint as a first year, just finished my first year in knitting. Goes over through a couple of different techniques and she walks them through on her pattern, and you can just find those other techniques on YouTube. So in my review, we're just going to go over some specs of the pattern, what I like about the make, what I don't like about the make, and how likely I am to recommend this pattern to a friend. Let's go over the pattern specs real quick. This is available on Etsy or Ravelry, I believe. She asks for about 650 meters on the extra small pattern. The extra small size in a worsted weight yarn. The gauge she provides is for a 10 by 10 centimeter square, it would be 17 stitches across and then 22 rows of stockinette stitch on 5mm needles. I think the only thing that I changed was I might have gone down in size. I may have chosen 5mm. Normally I tend to need to go down in size just because of the way that I knit. I used the Malaga World of Yarn acrylic yarn. I believe it comes in a 100-gram skein, 165 meters in each. I had them pre-caked because I had used it for a different project that I ended up not having enough yarn for it. In terms of beginner patterns, it does require you to learn German short rows. However, Just Do Knits had edited their pattern so that it was more beginner friendly. So she has tutorials on her written pattern of how to achieve and learn these techniques. I do believe she actually has the Italian bind off method in her pattern as well. Let me check that for you real quick. I did mod this one out because I was being lazy. I just did a regular cast off. I don't particularly care, you can't quite see it. I don't think it looks particularly messy. So if you're not keen on learning that, you could probably just not do it. Has this change modified my cardigan in any said way, shape, or form? I don't think so. I think even if I did the Italian tubular cast off, whatever, bind off, I would have had similar results in the neckline and the waistline. It is quite still a bit stretchy, and I don't know if it's like gonna be more stretched out due to the cast off that I did, cast on, cast off. But I don't necessarily need it to do that. She does also ask for a French cast on in some parts, but she also explains that in pattern. Oh, and also apparently she has a YouTube, so I will link her here. Apparently she has some tutorials here on those, but she does give you a few pictures and techniques. This pattern is worked in the flat since it is a cardigan. I'm going to be doing German short rows for this pattern, which she goes over, but I think I looked up a YouTube video to kind of figure out how. I don't think I used the pattern too much to learn how to pick up this technique. However, Did I remember how to use the German short rows? No, I haven't experienced using German short rows in my other patterns quite yet, so it's locked in there somewhere in my brain. I will use it eventually. So what I like about this pattern is a really nice wardrobe essential staple for a cardigan. It's timeless, the raglan lines look beautiful. It's kind of a boxy cardigan. It's relatively easy to style. It works across many different styles. You can mod it to have different designs that you want on it. Like, it'd be good if you wanted to do color work as well. But as far as just a cardigan, a simple cardigan, it fits well. It looks flattering for the most part. I unfortunately have a shorter torso, so she asks you to do, I think, like 10 centimeters down from the armpit, but I don't know if you can see here. That's definitely maybe not 10 centimeters. Well, yeah, because this is ribbing, right? So 10 centimeters is about 4 inches, and I maybe did some. I think she asked it to be a little bit longer, but I just have a short torso, so whenever it hit my waist, I kind of was like, okay, and then I just stopped there and started doing the ribbing for the rest of the body. You work in the flat pretty much all the way down. You set off your sleeve area and then pick them back up, and then those are pretty standard working around. And this is my first time ever that I've made a cardigan from knitting. All my other projects were sweaters and or shirts, so all of them kind of like worked in the round. I found that I really like that type of knitting, but I wanted to try something else in terms of outerwear. I made this cardigan. Love. It's a wonderful, easy to style, pretty timeless design in terms of cardigans. It's kind of standard in the sense that it's something you could probably find in the store. A lot of the times those knitted cardigans, store-bought, will have inset sleeves. I don't think I've seen too many raglan ones, but maybe I haven't really been looking because I've mostly been knitting anyways. So it's a really nice, timeless, and easy to style. It was exactly what I was looking for in my me-made wardrobe that I wanted to add. It would look great with dresses. It would work great with skirts. I wear a lot of high-waisted pants, skirts, others, and that's just kind of like where my waist ends, is here. So I think having a nicer cropped cardigan to layer with stuff is really nice. Generally, it took me about, I would say, a month to make it. I started the cardigan on November 24th, and then like I finished blocked and woven all my ends in December 15th. However, I did not put buttons on it until January 4th. I didn't put buttons on it until after the new year started. That's kind of when I made my decision to make the big buttons. I was debating between like 2 different buttons. I don't think there was anything in the pattern writing that I didn't like. As far as being a beginner and picking up knitting abbreviations and pattern writing, great. I was able to follow along really well. The only thing about this pattern, and it's really not even the pattern, it's just me, it was my choice. It was my choice of this yarn, is that I didn't like this yarn. The yarn is nice. Actually, give me 1 second. Let me see if I can show you my other piece. So I'm gonna get distracted a little bit real quick. These two yarns are the same yarn, right? My crochet project doesn't have this fuzziness that I'm getting with my knitted project. I don't know if you'll be able to see, but the black is the same, supposedly. I had a bunch of black acrylic yarn in my bags with no labels, and I assumed it was all the same, but it could be a different yarn entirely. But when I crocheted it and then I blocked it, I didn't have the issue that I'm getting here. I mean, it's possibly a little fuzzy, but like this one, let me just show you. It's super staticky, but maybe it's because I also don't really throw that one in the wash, but it's quite hairy, like, and it's starting to pill, which is not my favorite thing, but I'm not worried about that. Like, it's got this brush look on it, which is cute. I don't mind that. That's not what I was wanting for this cardigan. I wanted it to be, you know, an easy throw-on cardigan. I could wash it. It wouldn't have that fuzziness to it. It's gonna look really clean lines on the elegant side. This just kind of reads quite casual, a little fuzzy, maybe not as elegant. So I would love to remake this pattern in a different yarn that will probably not have this issue. So I'm hoping some type of cotton and or other. This is made out of acrylic. I really don't have any complaints about that. So this will just be like a casual cardigan that I will use and continue to wear. I lied, I guess I'm not entirely done because I maybe missed a couple of weave ins. But nonetheless, it was a very nice cardigan. It was a nice break from my other project, which was driving me up the walls. But last of all, our last category is how likely am I to recommend this pattern to a friend? Yes, if you want to start knitting a cardigan, I would suggest this pattern. I would call myself an adventurous beginner knitting in the stages that I'm in my first year finished. An adventurous beginner because German short rows can be a little bit difficult when you're trying to turn that last stitch and work back the other way. And doing like the Italian cast on is definitely a different way to cast on, and it was difficult to learn how to do it because you're like, where am I picking up my stitches? But you catch on pretty fast. So there's just like some new techniques that I would have not implemented or I have new techniques that I have not used in my previous patterns that, you know, it's out of my comfort zone. But as an adventurous beginner, I would say it's a pretty easy pattern once you get through those German short rows and you finish off your like Italian cast on and start working on the project. It's relatively easy most of the way through. Alrighty, and I think that was it. That was all I had to say about this pattern. 10 out of 10. Love it. 10 out of 10. Will make again. Would recommend this to a friend. And actually, short clip here, let's go ahead and leave a review on Etsy and Ravelry for the pattern designer. Editing Cribby here. I meant to make a little on-screen review video of me posting my review to Etsy for Just Do Knit's pattern. However, Etsy has like a 100 post day purchase review cutoff time. So like after you purchase it, you have 100 days to review said product, this said thing you bought, I believe. But like I am unable to do that because it's now April and I'm pretty sure I bought the pattern back in November and I didn't finish until like January, February, you know, a little 10 days plus 3 months. So my full review is on Ravelry, and I will try to make sure I put pictures on there because I'm pretty bad at finishing
my projects up on Ravelry, finishing, posting pictures. I have everything else filled out. I just don't have pictures. That's the suck part. So.
All right, friends. Thank you so much for joining me on this little pattern review. If you want to see more pattern reviews, if they're knitting, if they're sewing, if they're crochet, or if you just want to follow me for some art, follow me here on my YouTube channel. Click like and subscribe. Leave a comment here. What else do you want to see? I will also link my store in the description. If you like art, go check out some of my art. I'll catch you in the next one. My name is Cribby. I am a multi-passionate artist. I finished my first year in sewing. No, it will take. Okay.